Welcome to my channel. Let me ask you a question. Why do some people speak English with confidence even if they make mistakes, while others stay quiet even when they know many words? You've probably seen it before. One person says a sentence in English, and everyone listens, even though the grammar isn't perfect. Another person stays silent, even though they might know more vocabulary. Why does this happen? The truth is, confidence is not a gift you are born with. It's something you build. No one wakes up one day suddenly feeling fearless in English. Confidence grows from the actions you take every single day, even if those actions feel small. And here's the good news. You can start building it today, no matter your current level. You don't need to wait until your grammar is perfect or your accent is perfect. You don't even need to know thousands of words. You just need to understand the right steps and take them. I will show you these steps in this video. They are simple, clear, and designed for people who feel shy, nervous, or unsure when speaking English. Think about this. The first time you spoke your own language as a child, you made mistakes. You said words in the wrong order. You forgot words. But you kept talking, and that's why you learned. English works the same way. If you wait until you feel ready, you may wait forever. But if you start speaking now, even with mistakes, your brain will learn faster, and your confidence will grow naturally. So, stay with me until the end of this video. Because by the last chapter, you will not just know what to do, you will know exactly how to do it. And the next time you speak English, you will feel more confident than ever before. Chapter 1. The real meaning of confidence in speaking English. When most English learners hear the word confidence, they think it means speaking without mistakes. They imagine standing in front of people, speaking English perfectly with no grammar errors, no pauses, no ums or us. They think that confidence comes after they have mastered every single rule. But this is a myth, and it is one of the biggest reasons learners stay quiet. Confidence is not about perfection. Confidence is about communication. It's about sharing your ideas, your feelings, and your thoughts, even if your English is not perfect yet. Let me tell you a true story from one of my classes many years ago. I had two students, Ahmed and Sarah. Ahmed had studied English grammar for a long time. He could explain the past perfect tense and could write long, correct essays. But when it was time to speak, he stayed quiet. He worried about every single word before saying it. He would start a sentence, then stop, then change the sentence, then stop again. He wanted his English to be perfect before he opened his mouth, and because of that, he rarely spoke. Sarah, on the other hand, had far less grammar knowledge. She made many mistakes when speaking. She sometimes used the wrong tense, and sometimes she forgot the correct word. But here's the difference. She spoke with energy. She used her hands. She smiled. She looked at people's faces when talking. She focused on the listener, not on herself. She wanted people to understand her message, not to think she was perfect. And you know what? People listened to her. People enjoyed talking with her. And over time, her English improved much faster than Ahmed's. Because confidence grows when you use your English, not when you hide it. When you speak, even with mistakes, your brain learns how to connect ideas, how to choose words quickly, and how to adapt. Every time you speak, you plant a seed in your mind, a seed of confidence. And each conversation, each small success, is like water for that seed. Here's something important to understand. Fear comes from focusing too much on yourself. When you speak English and think, what if I say it wrong? What if they laugh? What if I make a mistake? You put all your attention on your own performance. You forget that the goal of language is connection. The person listening to you is not counting your grammar mistakes. They just want to understand you. If you focus on the listener instead of yourself, your fear starts to shrink. Think about when you speak your native language. Do you stop every sentence to check if your grammar is correct? Of course not. You just talk. You focus on the person in front of you. And even if you make a small mistake in your own language, you don't panic. You keep going. This is exactly how you should treat English. Here's a little exercise you can try right after watching this video. Stand in front of a mirror and tell yourself, my goal is not to be perfect. My goal is to share my message. Then, practice saying something simple in English, maybe about what you did today or what you plan to do tomorrow. Don't stop to think about grammar. Don't worry about using big words. Just speak with energy. Imagine you are talking to a friend who really wants to hear your story. When you start to see confidence in this way, as the ability to communicate, not the ability to be perfect, everything changes. You stop waiting for the perfect moment to speak. You stop hiding behind silence. You start speaking more, and because you speak more, your English improves faster. I want you to remember this sentence. Confidence comes from action, not from waiting. You cannot think yourself into confidence. You have to act your way into it. The first time you speak in front of someone, you may feel nervous. The second time, you may still feel nervous. But after the 10th time, the 100th time, your brain will say, I've done this before, I can do it again. Confidence is a muscle. And like any muscle, it gets stronger the more you use it. Even if your sentences are short, even if your grammar is not perfect, you can still be confident. You already have the seeds of confidence inside you. You just need to water them with practice, patience, and persistence. So in this first step of our journey, I want you to change your definition of confidence. It is not speaking without mistakes. It is speaking without fear of mistakes. If you can do that even for one sentence today, you have already started unlocking your inner fluent speaker. In the next chapter, we will talk about why you feel nervous when speaking English and how to control that feeling so it does not control you. But before we move on, remember this. Connection is always more important than perfection. Chapter 2, Why You Feel Nervous and How to Beat It. If you have ever tried to speak English and felt your heart beating fast, your hands getting sweaty, or your voice becoming quiet, you are not alone. Almost every English learner has felt this. In fact, even people speaking their own language in front of strangers can feel nervous. The difference is that confident speakers know how to manage these feelings. They don't let nervousness stop them. And you can learn this skill too. First, let's understand why you feel nervous when speaking English. Your brain is trying to protect you. Thousands of years ago, when humans lived in small groups, being accepted by the group was important for survival. If people laughed at you or rejected you, it could be dangerous. So your brain developed a danger alarm, a system that makes your body ready to fight or run away when it feels you are in trouble. This is called the fight or flight response. Now, of course, speaking English to someone is not dangerous. But your brain sometimes thinks it is. When you try to speak a new language, your brain says, "Oh no, what if I make a mistake? What if they judge me? What if I embarrass myself?" It treats speaking like a dangerous situation, and so your body reacts. Your heart beats faster, your hands shake, and your voice becomes quiet. Here's a simple example. Imagine your phone rings, and you see it's an unknown number from another country. You know they might speak English. Immediately, your brain starts worrying. What if I can't understand them? What if I don't know the right words? You feel nervous before you even answer. And when you do answer, your voice might sound unsure. This is not because you can't speak English. It's because your brain and body are reacting to fear. The good news is that nervousness is normal. Even very confident speakers feel it sometimes. The difference is they don't wait for it to disappear. They control it. And you can too with some simple tools. The first tool is slow breathing. When you are nervous, your breathing becomes fast and shallow, which makes you feel even more nervous. Try this. Before speaking, take a slow, deep breath in through your nose for 4 seconds, then breathe out through your mouth for 4 seconds. Do this 3 times. You will feel calmer almost immediately. The second tool is smiling. This might sound too simple, but smiling sends a message to your brain that you are safe. It also makes other people respond more warmly to you, which boosts your confidence. Even if you don't feel confident, try smiling when you start speaking. Your brain will begin to relax. The third tool is starting with easy sentences. When you feel nervous, your brain has less space to think of complex ideas. That's why it's better to start with something simple. For example, instead of jumping into a long explanation, start with a short greeting or a simple sentence. "Hi, nice to meet you," or "I'm happy to talk with you." This warms up your speaking and gives your brain time to adjust. The fourth tool is changing your focus. Nervousness grows when you think about yourself. What if I sound stupid? What if I forget the words? Instead, focus on the other person. Listen carefully. Look at their face. Think, how can I make this person understand me? When your attention is on connection instead of mistakes, your fear becomes smaller. Now here's a fun idea. Instead of trying to remove nervous energy, you can turn it into excitement. Think about how you feel before going on a fun ride at an amusement park. Your heart beats fast, your body feels full of energy. That's not fear, that's excitement. Nervousness and excitement feel very similar in the body. The only difference is what you call it. So next time you feel nervous, say to yourself, "I'm excited to speak English." This small change in thinking can make a big difference. Let me share another short story. I once had a student named Maria. She loved English but always froze when speaking. We worked on the breathing exercise, practiced smiling, and planned her first sentences before every conversation. She also started telling herself, "I'm excited, not nervous." After a few weeks, she was speaking more freely. One day she told me, "I still feel nervous sometimes, but it doesn't control me anymore." That's the key. You don't have to eliminate nervousness completely. You just have to manage it so it doesn't stop you. Remember, nervousness is a sign that you care. If you didn't care about speaking well, you wouldn't feel nervous at all. So take it as a good sign. Your body is giving you extra energy. Use that energy to connect with people, to share your thoughts, and to grow as a speaker. So, to beat nervousness, follow these 4 steps. Breathe slowly and deeply. Smile before and while you speak. Start with easy sentences. Focus on the listener, not on yourself. Practice these steps every time you speak, even in small situations, like asking a stranger for the time or saying hello to a shop assistant. The more you practice, the faster your brain will learn that speaking English is safe. And when your brain feels safe, your voice will sound stronger, your words will come more easily, and your confidence will grow. In the next chapter, we will talk about how to build your confidence step by step using small daily wins, so you can feel proud of yourself every single day you speak English. Chapter 3. The power of small speaking wins. When learners imagine becoming confident in English, they often picture a big, dramatic moment. Maybe standing on a stage giving a speech or having a long conversation with a native speaker without a single mistake. But here's the truth. Real confidence is not built in one big moment. It is built in hundreds of small moments. It is the result of small, daily actions that seem simple but have a powerful effect over time. Think of it like growing a plant. You can't plant a seed today and expect a full tree tomorrow. You water it every day. You give it sunlight. You take care of it. Slowly it grows stronger. Speaking confidence is exactly the same. Every small win is like a drop of water for your speaking skills. So what are small wins? They are tiny speaking actions you can do in your daily life that push you a little outside your comfort zone, but not so much that you feel overwhelmed. For example, saying "Good morning" to a shopkeeper in English. Telling the bus driver "Thank you" when you get off. Ordering your coffee or tea in English, even if the rest of the conversation is in your own language. Asking a stranger, "Excuse me, what time is it?" Speaking one sentence in English to a colleague or friend. These actions might look small, but they are powerful because they do three things. They train your brain to see speaking English as normal, not scary. They give you quick successes that make you feel good. They slowly build your speaking muscle without making you feel stressed. Let me share a story. A few years ago, I had a student named Farid. He was very shy and avoided speaking English in public. He believed he needed to study for years before he could speak well. I challenged him to do just one small speaking action every day, just one sentence. At first, he didn't believe it would help, but he agreed to try. On the first day, he went to a bakery and said, "One bread, please." That was it. On the second day, he told a taxi driver, "Please stop here." On the third day, he asked a coworker, "How are you today?" Some days, he repeated the same sentence to different people. After 2 weeks, he told me something surprising. "I don't feel as nervous anymore. My words come out faster." After 1 month, Farid was adding more sentences. He was ordering food in restaurants, asking shopkeepers for prices, and greeting strangers confidently. After 3 months, he could have short conversations with people without freezing. He wasn't perfect, but he was confident. His success didn't come from one big leap. It came from 90 small wins, one after another. Here's why this works. Small wins reduce fear. If you try something too big at first, like having a 20-minute conversation with a native speaker, your fear can be so strong that you avoid it completely. But if you start small, your brain learns that speaking English is safe. Each time you succeed, even in a tiny way, your brain gets a little more confident. Now, I want you to try a small wins challenge. Starting today, speak one sentence in English every day for the next 7 days. It can be anything: a greeting, a thank you, a question. You can speak to a friend, a stranger, or even to yourself in the mirror if you have no one to talk to. The goal is not perfection. The goal is action. To make it more powerful, keep the small wins journal. Every day, write down the sentence you said and how you felt after saying it. At the end of the week, read your list. You will be surprised at how much more confident you feel. One thing to remember: repetition is your friend. If you can't think of a new sentence, repeat an old one. The magic is not in variety. It's in the act of speaking regularly. Just like an athlete trains the same moves again and again, you are training your mouth, your voice, and your mind to work together. Also, don't underestimate the value of simple sentences. Many learners think they must use big, complex phrases to improve, but even saying, "Hello, how are you?" in a real-life situation is a valuable step. Confidence doesn't come from big, rare moments. It comes from small, daily actions done consistently. So, your takeaway from this chapter is simple. Confidence is built step by step. The more small wins you collect, the more your fear will fade, and the more natural speaking will feel. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment to start. Your small moment today is the perfect start. In the next chapter, we will talk about where you can practice these small wins in safe and fun spaces, so you can grow your confidence without feeling embarrassed or judged. Chapter 4. Practice in safe and fun spaces. One of the biggest fears English learners have is speaking in front of other people and making mistakes. This fear can be so strong that they avoid speaking completely, and that's a problem, because the only way to build confidence is to actually speak. But here's the secret: you don't have to start speaking English in scary situations. You can start in safe and fun spaces, where there's no judgment, no pressure, and no fear. Think about learning to swim. You don't start in deep water. You start in the shallow end, where you can stand up if you need to. Speaking English works the same way. First, you need a safe space to practice so your brain can relax. When your brain feels safe, your mouth can speak more easily. One of the easiest and most effective safe spaces is the mirror. This may sound strange, but talking to yourself in the mirror is a powerful confidence-building exercise. When you speak in front of a mirror, you can see your facial expressions, your mouth movements, and your body language. You can practice your smile, your gestures, and your eye contact. At first, it might feel a little awkward, but very quickly it becomes fun. You can pretend you're introducing yourself to someone, practicing small talk, or even giving a speech. The best part? The mirror never judges you. Another safe space is practicing with a trusted friend. This could be someone who is also learning English or someone who supports you without making fun of your mistakes. The key is to find someone who makes you feel comfortable. You can agree to speak only in English for 5 minutes, and if you get stuck, they can help you. This makes speaking feel less like an exam and more like a friendly game. If you don't have someone to practice with in person, you can join online groups for English learners. There are many communities on platforms like Facebook, WhatsApp, or language exchange apps where people practice English together. The great thing about online groups is that you can choose when to participate, and you can start by just listening before you speak. This gives you time to get comfortable before joining in. And here's one of my favorite suggestions. Talk to your pets or even your plants in English. This might sound funny, but it works. Pets don't care if you make mistakes, and plants certainly won't correct your grammar. You can describe what you're doing, ask them questions, or tell them about your day. The goal is to get used to speaking out loud without feeling pressure. Beginners often feel less nervous when they start with themselves first, then move to real people. This step-by-step approach works because it gives your brain time to adjust. First, you talk to yourself in the mirror. Then you record your voice. Then you talk to a friend. Then you join an online group. Finally, you speak to strangers in small, safe ways. By the time you get to that last step, your confidence has already grown. Speaking of recording your voice, this is another powerful tool. Use your phone to record yourself speaking for 1 or 2 minutes about any topic. You can talk about what you did today, your weekend plans, or even your favorite food. Then listen to the recording. At first, you might notice mistakes or hear your accent more than you like. But over time, you'll start to notice improvement, clearer pronunciation, faster sentences, and more confidence in your voice. You can keep these recordings as confidence diaries to remind yourself how far you've come. The most important thing is to make practice fun. If practice feels like a boring school exercise, you won't want to do it. But if you turn it into a game, you'll enjoy it. For example, you can challenge yourself to use 5 new words while talking to your mirror. Or you can pretend you're on a cooking show while making dinner and explain each step in English. Remember, safe spaces are not just for beginners. Even advanced speakers use them to prepare for important conversations. Actors rehearse their lines before performing. Musicians practice before going on stage. Because safe practice builds confidence before the real performance. If you are shy or afraid of speaking, start small. You don't need to jump straight into speaking with native speakers. First, speak to yourself. Then, speak to a supportive friend. Then, join a group. Each step will feel easier because you've already prepared in a safe and fun way. So, here's your challenge for this week, day 1 to 2. Talk to yourself in the mirror for 2 minutes each day. Day 3 to 4. Record your voice for 1 minute and listen back. Day 5 to 6. Speak in English with a friend or family member for 5 minutes. Day 7. Join an online group or talk to a stranger in a very short conversation. By the end of the week, you'll notice that speaking feels less scary. You'll have trained your brain to see English speaking as something normal and safe. In the next chapter, we'll take another big step. Learning how to think in English so you can speak more naturally and with less hesitation. This will take your confidence to a whole new level. Chapter 5. Thinking in English to speak naturally. If you've ever tried to speak English and felt like your words were stuck in traffic inside your head, there's a good chance you were translating from your native language first. This is one of the biggest reasons learners feel slow, nervous, or unsure when speaking. Your brain is doing double work. First, it hears the thought in your own language, then it searches for English words, then it tries to arrange them in the right order. By the time you speak, you either lose confidence or forget what you were going to say. The secret to speaking more naturally and confidently is to start thinking directly in English. When you think in English, your brain doesn't have to translate, so your words come out faster, your sentences sound more natural, and your mind feels less pressure. It's like learning to ride a bike without training wheels. At first, it's shaky, but soon it becomes automatic. Let's start with something simple, describing what you see. Right now, look around you. Maybe you see a chair, a table, your phone, or a cup of tea. Instead of thinking, "This is my cup of tea," in your own language and then translating, try to make the sentence directly in English. Say it in your head. "This is my cup of tea." Then go deeper. "The tea is hot. It smells sweet. I am holding the cup." Another easy method is to describe what you are doing. As you go about your day, tell yourself your actions in English, either out loud or silently in your head. For example, "I am brushing my teeth. I am putting on my shoes. I am walking to the bus stop." This keeps your brain in English mode without the stress of performing for anyone else. You can also practice future thinking in English. Talk about what you're going to do next. For example, "I will cook dinner. I will call my friend. I will read for 10 minutes. This is powerful because it helps you prepare sentences in advance, so when the real moment comes, your brain already has the English ready. Now, let's connect this to confidence. When you train your brain to think in English, you stop worrying so much about mistakes. Because you're no longer trying to get it right through translation, you're speaking from natural thought. Your words will sound more like real conversations, and even if your grammar isn't perfect, people will understand you more easily. And the more they understand you, the more your confidence will grow. Let me give you a real example. I had a student, Maria, who always paused before speaking. She told me, "My mind works in Spanish, so I have to translate every sentence." We started a thinking in English habit. Every morning, while making breakfast, she described everything in English. "I cut the bread. Pour the milk. I drink my coffee." At first, she needed to stop and search for words, but after 2 weeks, she noticed something amazing. When her friend called her in English, she spoke without long pauses. Her brain had learned to skip the translation step. To make this interactive for you, let's try a mini challenge right now. Look around and find 3 things you can see. In your head, describe each one in English. Then, think of one thing you're doing right now and one thing you'll do after reading this. You just did a thinking in English exercise, and if you repeat this every day, you'll see huge progress in a short time. Another tip, don't worry about making your sentences complex in the beginning. Simple is powerful. The window is open. The sky is blue. I am happy today. Over time, your brain will naturally add more detail, like, the window is open and a cool breeze is coming in. Finally, remember this. Thinking in English is not about being perfect. It's about training your brain to live in English for a few minutes each day. The more you do it, the faster your mouth will follow your mind, and the more confident you will feel in real conversations. By practicing these small mental habits, you're not just learning English, you're building a fluent identity. And when English becomes the language of your thoughts, it will naturally become the language of your voice. Chapter 6. Becoming your own confidence coach. One of the most powerful lessons in learning English, or in learning anything, is this. You can't always rely on someone else to cheer you on. Teachers, friends, and family might help you in the beginning, but there will be days when no one is watching, no one is reminding you to practice, and no one is there to say, "You're doing great." On those days, you have to be your own coach. Being your own confidence coach means you create the energy, the belief, and the motivation you need, even when you feel tired, shy, or discouraged. It's about talking to yourself in a way that lifts you up, celebrating your progress no matter how small, and always having a clear next step to keep growing. Let's start with self-talk, the way you speak to yourself in your mind. Many learners don't realize it, but the words you say to yourself are just as important as the words you say to other people. If your inner voice says, "I'm bad at English. I always make mistakes. People will laugh at me," your brain will believe it, and your body will react with fear. You'll hesitate, you'll avoid speaking, and you'll stay stuck. But what if you change that voice? Instead of saying, "I will fail," you tell yourself, "I can speak. I am learning. I'm getting better every day." This isn't lying to yourself. It's choosing a belief that helps you grow. Even if you're not perfect yet, you can still choose to focus on your progress. This small change in self-talk can completely shift how you feel when you open your mouth to speak. Next, let's talk about celebrating small wins. Most learners are too hard on themselves. They might talk to someone in English, but instead of feeling proud, they only think about the mistakes they made. This kills motivation. I want you to flip that thinking. From now on, after every practice session or conversation, ask yourself, what went well? Did you speak to someone for the first time? Did you try a new word? Did you understand a joke? That's a win. Write it down or say it out loud. I spoke to someone today, or I used a new word today. When you celebrate small wins, you train your brain to see progress instead of failure. And progress, no matter how small, builds confidence. Another tool for being your own confidence coach is tracking your growth. Confidence can be hard to measure, but you can keep a simple confidence journal. Every day or every week, write down how comfortable you felt speaking English, maybe on a scale from 1 to 10. Write a short note about what you did and how you felt. Over time, you'll see patterns. You might notice that after speaking with a friend, your confidence score is higher. Or you might realize that listening to English music before speaking helps you feel more relaxed. Tracking your growth gives you proof that you're improving, and proof is powerful. On days when you feel stuck, you can look back and see how far you've come. Finally, let's talk about setting the next small goal. Confidence grows when you take action. If you only think about speaking but never do it, your fear will stay the same. But if you take one small action, even if it's just introducing yourself to a stranger or joining a 5-minute online conversation, your fear will shrink and your confidence will rise. The key is to keep your goals small and realistic. Instead of saying, "I will speak English perfectly in 3 months," try, "This week, I will start one short conversation with someone new." Or, "Today, I will record myself speaking for 1 minute." Achievable goals create success, and success builds confidence. As we close this chapter and this journey, I want you to remember this. Confidence is not something you wait for. It's something you create. You create it by speaking even when you're nervous. You create it by replacing negative self-talk with encouraging words. You create it by celebrating every step forward, no matter how small. The truth is, confidence doesn't arrive fully formed. It grows, piece by piece, with every attempt you make. So today, I want you to decide, from this moment on, you are your own coach. You are the one who will encourage you, challenge you, and push you forward, because you are stronger than your fears, and your voice deserves to be heard. Now, take a deep breath, smile, and say it with me. I can speak. I am learning. I am growing. My confidence is getting stronger every day. Your journey is not over. It's just beginning, and you have the best coach in the world by your side. If you found these tips helpful, hit the like button so more learners can see them and start building their own confidence too. Subscribe to my channel for more simple, practical, and powerful English lessons that you can use right away in your daily life. I post new videos to help you not only speak better English but also feel more confident while doing it. And I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, which confidence tip from today's chapter will you start using right now? Will it be changing your self-talk, celebrating your small wins, or setting a new goal? Remember, every single time you open your mouth and speak English, you are not just practicing words. You are moving one step closer to your fluent, confident self. Keep going, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself because your voice matters and the world needs to hear it.